Hello, my name is Michael O'Keefe, aka The Movie Wist. If you enjoy this interview and want to hear more top-notch film industry conversations, please press the thumbs up, subscribe to this channel, and hit the bell to stay in the know. Hello, Caroline Williams and Erik Bloomquist. Tell me your own number one reason for audiences to watch 10 Minutes to Midnight.
It's surprising, it's unusual, it takes you in a ton of different directions. And it's easily one of the most original, smartest, and most sophisticated horror films you will see this year.
Thank you for saying that, Caroline. The two reasons, I'll give two. I'm going to cheat. The first, and I say this a lot, is if you want to feel like a kid again, that you stayed up a little bit too late watching something you might not be supposed to be watching, hopefully this movie will do that to you. The second is if you're on the fence about what to watch at night and you don't really know which way to do and you don't want to commit to something long, our movie is short. Our movie is only an hour and 15 minutes. So if you don't want to do a huge time commitment and take a chance on something, you should take out 10 Minutes to Midnight.
It's true.
With credits, it's an hour and 23 minutes.
Okay. Yes, it is quick. It's terse. It's distilled.
Tight.
Tight. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So, do either of you have a background in radio? And if you could host a radio show right now, what kind of show would it be?
I thought somebody asked you this like a year ago when we were doing like an original round of press tours, like what your favorite song would be. Oh no, that was for Grimfest. Someone asked you what your go-to song would be.
I don't have one song. That's the biggest problem. I've never hosted a radio show. My big radio experience as a kid in the early 60s was Wolfman Jack, who broadcast out of Del Rio, Texas, and he played rock and roll. And I had one of those little transistor radios, and, they make the funny sounds when you're, switching through the channels. And that's how my relationship with radio actually began. I listen to podcasts every once in a while. Most of the time I'm listening to music though.
Okay.
I might do, and this is just me off the top of my head, I would maybe do a show where I dug up old vinyl and played the most famous song off the vinyl and then followed it up with like a lesser known hidden gem on the vinyl that like people might not know from the record.
That's cool.
But should be known.
Erik, how long did it take you to write this script? And where do you think the inspiration came from?
It came from me liking the radio aesthetic and Twilight Zone, Stephen King, and my brother Carson, who co-wrote it with me, liking having this idea for like a taut one location vampire thing, and we merged those ideas and combined it with locations we had, and it poured out rather quickly. Just women we had really committed to it, and we're writing it, and we had a sort of a narrow window in which to shoot it. So we wrote it. We had the idea in March. We had a script by like late April that we were happy with, and Caroline hopped on in May, and we were shooting in June.
Oh my God, that's quick.
We don't mess around.
Don't play games.
7 nights. We would.
Caroline hopped on real quick too. She was as soon as Caroline got it, she was like, "I'm in." Like it was great.
Fun stuff.
Couldn't say no.
Couldn't say no. Caroline, do you identify at all with your character, and how did you prepare for this role?
Easily. The difference being I've been a mother and I raised kids for a long period of time. Amy didn't make that choice. And, there are pros and cons to every choice you make in life. And Amy gave herself to this radio station and music and all the things that she likes about that world. And, but I do, understand the disposable nature of people who work in the entertainment industry. It doesn't matter if you're an actor or director, writer, whatever, sometimes you're shown the door. And
I heard, isn't there a saying in Hollywood, make sure the door doesn't hit your ass on the way up?
Right. The saying that stands out for me in Hollywood is failure to hear a yes is a no. They won't tell you no. Nobody says no here. You just don't hear from them. And the next thing you know, you're watching television or listening to something and you find out your TV show's been canceled. They don't call you and tell you.
That sucks.
Which is what happens in this movie, right? I mean, she's expected to go on air not knowing, and then they would just say, "All right, Amy, thanks. Here's your box. Bye."
Red velvet cake.
Your favorite.
Okay, here's a tricky question, and I hope you don't dodge it. Who was the MVP of the crew during this shoot?
I'm not going to dodge it, but I do have to say that like this when you go to war with a movie like this, everybody is essential, and that's truly not me dodging it. There's just
That's
like
true.
we were so small too. I mean, we had our department heads. We had a DP who was literally shouldering a camera in all these handheld scenes that was gigantic in tiny spaces, modifying shot lists as we went, and just soldiering through the night. We had an amazing hair and makeup special effects artist doing looks on everybody and prepping elaborate special effects things in record time. We had a woman doing double duty on costume design and production design, supervising that whole aesthetic piece of the movie. I mean, it's kind of crazy to think about that. So the fact that everybody was able to do that while also lending their time and talents to other departments to assist as needed, I think that's what I saw from my end. Caroline, I don't know from your end, I mean, what your experience was.
Everyone was multitasking. There wasn't a single member of the crew that wasn't fulfilling other responsibilities. We were very, very small. This is a very small company. And we shot for 7 nights, and everybody had to be on their game because we had a hard out that last night. So it had to happen. Everything had to happen, and it did.
That last night, man, I mean, we were doing a lot of the more elaborate special effectsy violence kind of stuff. And the sun was rising, and the morning show DJ was coming in, and we had to get it done. And it was like we were going back and forth between scenes just based on like who needed to be in makeup at one point. So we'd shoot someone's coverage, send them off to get into makeup, go to a different location, shoot someone else's coverage, double, and then go back and shoot them with the makeup. And it was like, it was just, we had to like piece it out elaborately, like cut little lines on the fly so that instead of shooting a scene in 6 shots, we could shoot it in 3. And like, the fact that Thompson, our DP, was able to accommodate that and trust the process there and also be creative about how we did it. I mean, it was just crazy, and we got it, and we wrapped right at sunrise, and we were just like, it was like a religious experience. So it was just like the ultimate exhale.
It was.
Because Nicole had to go.
Was.
She was leaving for season 1 of Batwoman, and we had to get her back to New York.
God, jeez. Okay, what are your personal favorite horror movies?
Scream is my number one, always will be. I mean, I think it's my first grown-up horror movie that I saw with my brain. It just, I think what it does is extraordinary, and I think it's legitimately scary, and I love that movie.
My first horror film was Frankenstein, but it didn't register as horror for me. I loved Frankenstein. I didn't understand why people were after him and trying to hurt him, So, yeah.
That's a good answer. All right,
what's yours, Michael?
What's my favorite horror movie? I would say, just off the top of my head, a movie called The Beyond. It's from 1981, I think, and it's Italian. It's a zombie movie. It's by a guy named Lucio Fulci. I have a Lucio Fulci bobblehead right here.
Giallo.
Yeah, exactly. You know. All right. So thank you for your time, guys. I really appreciate it. Any final words before I let you go about 10 minutes to midnight?
See it.
Yes. And when you see it, please leave a review wherever you watch movies, IMDb, Letterboxd, all those places. Even if it's just a quick rating, like 2 sentences. These movies live and die on the algorithms, and the algorithms love to be fed with new reviews and new ratings. So, I mean, that's our humble request is whatever you may feel about it, just jot a couple of quick notes. And that's how we reach more people who it might touch, affect, scare, whatever.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Michael.